People's Progressive Party, Civic, has hatched a sinister plot to accuse newly elected opposition leader, the Honourable Azruddin Mohamed, in the killings of Adrianna Younge and Soraya Bourne.
These allegations that were put to Mr. Mohamed in court recently about funding young people following Adrianna Younge's death and so on, what do you make of that?
Well, that was news to us concerning the Adrianna Younge's death. The Mohammeds have never been investigated, questioned, they've never been charged with anything such as that. So that's news to us, and I think that worked to their discredit, because for making such bald and outrageous allegations and failing to have any information at all to substantiate them, I think those are some of the things that work in our favor.
Mohamed claimed victory at the polls, and the government is on the war path to stop Azruddin's rise as a powerful political force in Guyana.
Are you surprised by the allegations made by the prosecution, the Jamaican, in the court today?
In the court today.
We talked about your connections to
Middle East, Venezuela.
In Brazil and all that.
It's sure lies. Everything is lies. This is coming from the government of Guyana. The PPP is a criminal enterprise. They want to link me with the bombing. They are the ones allowing all the Venezuelans in this country. They have Guyanese critics, their sub-prefects and their lackeys trying to peddle lies about us. And it's not going anywhere. At the end of the day, Almighty God is with us.
I need justice. That's all I ask. But let it give it justice. That is only fixed.
Using the lives of these two innocent young girls, the PPP aim was to smear and invoke anger and outrage throughout Guyana against Azruddin and his father. But their plan has failed. All the PPP has succeeded in doing is mobilising supporters of the Win Party and to make strong the Most Honourable Azruddin Mohamed's position as a man of the people, by the people and for the people.
Runs him to the car, even when the handcuffs were being placed on Azruddin, you know, there were these heavy artillery. Where was all this heavy artillery and this big procession when we had a guy that bombed the gas station only recently? Where was this big heavy artillery when we had this young lady, the Adrianna Younge matter over there? Where was the police with that degree of vigilance that they were tracing and following people? But instead, they were peddling so much lies about some man and some ram and all sorts of things.
Prominent businessman Azruddin Mohamed and his father, Nigel Mohamed, appeared before the court in Georgetown, Guyana, facing extradition proceedings related to US indictments for alleged gold smuggling, wire fraud, and other financial crimes. Both were granted bail at $150,000 each, with conditions to report to the police and surrender their passports. Mohamed strongly denied all allegations, calling the charges lies and politically motivated, and accused the PPP government of conspiring with US agents to sanction him and block his entry into Parliament. He described his arrest as violent, claiming over 20 armed men surrounded him, and insisted that his family's gold business was legitimate and managed by his father. His legal team, led by attorneys Nigel Hughes and others, argued that the extradition request is unconstitutional, citing breaches under the Fugitive Offenders Act and Article 153, subsection 3, of Guyana's constitution. They emphasised that the offences listed are not extraditable under Guyanese law, and that no evidence or affidavits were presented by the prosecution. The defence also alleged political interference, suggesting the case was timed to prevent Mohamed from entering Parliament. Lawyers confirmed that the matter will return to court on November 10th for further arguments on constitutional grounds.
There is this Guyanese businessman who has been buying gold from Venezuelan men dressed in military uniform, 99.9% gold, exported return the money to a Citibank, billions of US dollars within a 4-year span. Almost put the country financial system into crisis. And nothing has been done about that.
General Secretary of We Invest in Nationhood, Ms. Primus, has condemned the arrest and extradition proceedings against businessman and opposition figure Azruddin Mohamed and his father, calling the events politically motivated and a threat to democracy in Guyana. Speaking publicly, Primus has said both men were arrested separately after what she described as unusual court manoeuvres, including reports that a magistrate was suddenly reassigned and the courtroom was temporarily shut down to facilitate the case. She alleged that the government is orchestrating and manipulating the process in collaboration with US authorities. Primus argued that the government's focus on the Mohammeds contrasts sharply with its inaction toward others who have been sanctioned for crimes such as drug trafficking, accusing the administration of selective justice. She claimed that the Mohammeds' arrests were designed for embarrassment, not legitimate investigation, noting that no searches were conducted at their properties and that the police used excessive force during the arrests.
It is obvious to this entire country that the government is controlling and manipulating this entire process. And if one is to say that that is not so, then that is merely a demonstration of your ignorance, because Azruddin is not the only person, nor is his father the only person or persons who were sanctioned in this country. Was May arrested? And thrown in the back of a vehicle? No.
Just preempting what the public might say, that, you know, these actions now taken by the government, now saying that they have information to support their investigation based on the sanctions, that this may be political, with the Mohammeds claiming that the government would have been pressuring them to back out of some presidential race, or if they're contesting.
I have said to you exactly what has transpired between the relevant government agencies / law enforcement agencies in Guyana and their counterparts in the United States of America. What I have said can be fact-checked against over a long period of time, where this ongoing process was ongoing and can be verified.
We have another list that subsequently came out with persons who were charged, were sanctioned, in relation to cocaine trafficking. Do we see a speedy interest in getting any of these people out of the country? Absolutely not. In fact, and again, this I cannot prove, but what we have been hearing is that the police who was sanctioned is still being paid by the government of Guyana.
My fellow Guyanese, today I stand ready to raise my hand, put my shoulder to the task, and dedicate my mind and heart to building a world-class Guyana, where every citizen is treated equally, not through buzzwords, but through the hard work of rebuilding trust and forging genuine harmony.
According to Primus, the treatment of Azruddin Mohamed, who she said is now a significant political threat as leader of the opposition, is part of a wider effort by the PPP government to silence dissent and cripple emerging political rivals with financial backing. She insisted that despite the arrests, the Win Party will attend Parliament as mandated by the people, adding that democracy in Guyana is under attack. Primus concluded by declaring that the PPP government does not care about the people of Guyana, accusing it of corruption, hypocrisy, and suppression of genuine opposition voices.
And so here we are in a position where we have no faith in the government of Guyana, absolutely none, and we have zero faith in the Guyana police force, because they have proven not only to be incompetent but to be liars and to be destructive in nature, because you would have had a man's life and livelihood being affected and uprooted based on the lies. We don't see anybody being dragged before the court. We don't see the courts being shut down to deal with these people, but that is the manner in which they are dealing with the Mohammeds, and specifically with Azruddin, because like I said, he is the person that is the threat, because he's the person who has political interest, who was able to mobilize a large number of supporters here within this country, and has now taken up the seat of leader of the opposition. And so as far as the government is concerned, he's a threat, because the PNC don't have no money to be running things. Listen, we can keep it 100. Don't have no money to be running anything. Terence and Saiku only got so much money. The Mohammeds are able to effectively campaign against this government, as you would have seen daily reports from different parts of the different regions within this country, where schools are in deplorable state and all these sorts of things, which is a problem for the government. And so they do not want to have real opposition. And as we know, you can't do nothing without money, right? It don't matter how nice you're nice and your heart clean and so on, you go and help auntie wipe down your step, auntie want a little food in your pot, and you don't have food in your either. And so that is why if somebody rises up that has the financial means, the willingness as well to do good by the people, they will pose a problem to this government, because the PPP government does not care about the people in this country at all. If you cared about the people, you would have respected the will of the people. And I know that Barrett is going to come on his foolish Thursday rant with some nonsense about what I would have said, and I'd like to make it very clear and to repeat what I've said unapologetically, that the PPP government does not care about the people of Guyana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mama, I'm watching here and don't do everything else.
Come and make this wrong turn right. Your perfect love will win this fight. Fight for Adrianna, your sweet child Adrianna. We love you and miss you, Adrianna, 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 Princess of Guyana.
Please remember to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and put your comments below. Hit the notification bell for more updates on the latest events happening in the region and around the world. Thank you, and we love you all.